everybody, it's McGann. I've done a couple of really basic Photoshop tutorials, and I thought that since I'm using Maya a lot more these days, I would do some really brief tutorials for that too. This is Maya 2012. All the additions, they vary a little bit, but it's essentially the same kind of thing. If you can figure out one, you can probably figure out the rest. You can get a 30-day free trial of Maya off the Autodesk website, but it's a very expensive program, so if you are at a school where they have it for free, I would suggest using it there rather than pay several $1,000s to try and buy it, because you only get like a limited license with it anyways. The first thing you're going to notice is up here in this corner there's a drop-down menu, and in that menu you have animation, polygon, surfaces, dynamics, and other stuff. If you're just kind of trying to sculpt or build something like that, you want to make sure you're in polygons, because every time you click on something different, the menu up here at the top changes. So if you can't find what you're looking for, that might be why. Anyway, this is like the 3D mode where you can see it in any angle. What you want to do is if you're on Mac, push down Command. If you're on Windows, it's probably Control. And then you just click down with the mouse and you can move it around however you want and see it. Anyways, now to make a polygon, you can go to this menu here and click on polygons, and let's say I want to make a cube, click, okay, there's my cube. I don't like doing this because it's really you're only going to get pretty much that kind of a polygon. You can't really play with it or change it. My preference is to go up to Create, Polygon Primitives, and say there's cube here. If you click on the little square box next to it, you can go, it says width division, height division, depth division, and you can decide how many lines each face is going to have on, all the way around it. So 2 and 2 and 2 is fine for me, and it's a little easier this way because then you can also draw the boxes however big you want it to start out with. So here's our cube, we just set the one way and then the other, and then we can X out of this and we're done. And you can look around and it's pretty much, geometrically it's a good cube. It's not going to have fault lines in it or anything like that. Now to sculpt and mold it, what you're going to want to do is these three right here are going to usually be your best friend. There's the Move tool, the Rotate tool, and the Scale tool. And with the Move tool, right now it's set in the mode where you select only the object. You want to click right next to it where it says Select by Component Type if you want to actually mold it. If you just want to move the box around, then you just want to move it as an object. But if you want to change the dimensions of it, make it into a shape, you want to select by component. You can choose faces, which makes sure there's only one selected or it won't work. Faces, and then you can just kind of click and, if you hit the 5 key, it'll also make your object fill in so you can see what you're doing a little better. You can just select faces like that, and then those are the only 4 selected. You can pull it up, pull it down, you can grab it in the middle and move it around like that however you want. And you can even, let's say I just want to grab that face and I want to pull it out, and see everything else will kind of go with it to keep it more, not really in balance, but to keep it all so that it's one shape. And then you can also choose to grab things by their line, which are these little blue lines here, obviously. And when you have it, it turns green for the 2012 edition, but it's also very easily screwed up too. You can accidentally grab and delete faces or lines and get yourself in all kinds of trouble. The same thing as if you try to just mouse over a big area. I don't know if you can see my dotted lines around it, but I ended up selecting a whole lot of it, and say if I only just want this part here, and it's also going to select everything in the back too. So that's something to be aware of. What I normally like to model with is this little square dot here, which is Select Components, Select Point for Components, and then you can just kind of zoom in here, and I just did that with my mouse scroll button. Nothing fancy there. And then you can just move it by each individual vertex. And you can build your shapes like that. And another little trick with Maya, see if I want to drag this straight forward and I'm looking straight forward at it, I really can't do it. I have to kind of turn it to the side and pull it out that way, and then kind of look at it in other ways and see if it's aiming up where I want it to be. And it's pretty much like real sculpting. You just have to keep moving around and trying to figure out what you want and how you want it and all that stuff. But you can also select multiple vertices at the same time, just move stuff around and do stuff like that. The last little trick I'll show you for beginning Maya today is if you click the space bar really quick. If you hold it down, you get a bunch of menus, but if you just click it really quick, you get options for different views. And this right here is the view where you can go in 3D mode and you can move around and do things however you want. And this is how I usually prefer to do it. You can also click on this one and hit spacebar, and now you're looking at it from the top view, so you're looking down on the project. There's also the front-on view right here, and then this one is the side view. And you can also rearrange these so that the cameras move around, but that's pretty much the basic setting for them. But this is, this is my favorite. This is the perspective mode. That's what it is. I knew I'd figure it out sometime. It finally came back to me. So that's just some basics for Maya for how you can get started, and I hope that's been helpful. If you all would like to see some more Maya videos, let me know, and I'll be happy to make some and help other people learn it, because like I said, I started grad school, never touched Maya before, and it was just like a foreign language. It's taken me forever to get the learning curve down, but now that I'm starting to get the basics going well, I'd like to share and help some other people figure this out, because it is not, it's definitely not the most user-friendly program that was ever made. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. Bye.